kicking off here pretty quick. There we go. We got our Scott Pittman. We're going to be talking about Scott Pittman. We're going to be talking about the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle update. And this is your TV broadcast. Yes, we are live. We do this every night, roughly around this time period, to bear witness, to share with you the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle update on how many tickets were sold. So that, are we hosting it or are we spinning our wheels? Well, it looks like we're spinning some more wheels because our SHIB 50/50 update is that we haven't sold any tickets in the last 24 hours. So we have a carryover to the next day. So there's your SHIB 50/50 raffle update. Now for the Scott Pittman is endorsing SHIB. There's Scott Pittman. He's endorsing SHIB and XRP. Good news, bad news. We only cover SHIB. Unfortunately, we don't cover SHIB. Right, everybody? So good news all around for everybody that's in cryptocurrencies. Absolutely, everyone that's in SHIB and XRP. Scott Pittman is endorsing them. MBNA superstar, also a Hall of Famer, Scott Pittman. Does it mean much to the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle? Not much. Does it mean very much to the SHIB? Yes, it does. Anyone that's coming forth and making a statement about it, not sure if he knows what SHIB means or what is in store for everyone that's in SHIB, but it's good to see that other people are starting to take a notice of it. That's the main thing, right? Yeah, so where are we? Transitional dividends are allowed. We went over that yesterday. Segments and global implications. Now imagine us just a personal wealth image and dividend model. Massive love show to Jason Cox. Yes, Jason, I see you there. That is fantastic. Should we start a poll? Interesting. Hold on to your Bobby hat. Bobby socks. Let's see. No. Hey, Jason, how is Oklahoma? Everybody happy in Oklahoma? Should be happy, right? Another day in paradise. Realize fiat currencies reverses shrinks while SHIB holders grow. Silent panic sets in. So the silent panic is, of course, the exchanges, not us, right? SHIB goes up, SHIB goes down. SHIB goes up, SHIB goes down. But as long as we're doing what? Always adding wallet holders, positive signs, very positive signs. Hopefully now that Pittman is endorsing SHIB, maybe he can talk to his colleagues or business partners to see how many of them are going to endorse SHIB. I sent him a link for yesterday's channel, so maybe, hopefully he reads it or watches it, so he gets an idea of what SHIB is offering and the power behind SHIB that we've brought forward so many times on the channel, in the previous channels, in the previous videos or live streams. Because what we do here is we update everybody because we want to make sure that everyone understands what the 50/50 raffle is all about. All it does is speed things up. Rhea, massive love shout out to Rhea, massive love shout out to Jason Cox, massive love shout out to Rowena, massive love shout out to Prince Williams, my trustee. Massive love shout out to Mark Anthony, massive love shout out to Matt. Thanks for coming on, Matt, and explaining a few things. ER, massive love shout out to ER for coming on and asking some questions on how to buy SHIB, how to get involved. He came on, he made a statement about how much money he had to invest. Please don't do that. If you have money to invest, all you do is say, listen, I got enough for a lottery ticket. Rhea, I see you, Rhea. There you go, Ria. I got you as a standard moderator. So if you have any links that you want to put out, excellent. Do you like NBA basketball players? He's a Hall of Famer, by the way. And yes, he is endorsing XRP and SHIB. I know we don't put in XRP because we don't cover XRP. People think that we don't know anything about XRP. We do know a lot about XRP. They're governed. Of course, they make mistakes. Well, he has made these, the CEO has made mistakes going on 60 Minutes. And then he had to do a buyback offer. What was it that he was offering? Coin drop, right? XRP coin drops because of his mistake with 60 Minutes. Because what did 60 Minutes do to him? Embarrass him is basically what they did. They gave him a black eye. First thing they came on and said that you're lucky to even have, because if it was anybody else in power, you would have been shut down long ago. And the fact that you were in a loss, like, it was just nasty. It was just nasty what they did to XRP. But taking the interview was a mistake to begin with. He was thinking good press is no press, right? So it's all good press. Well, not when it comes to lefties losing it. It isn't, right? We talk about lefties losing it. No, not on this channel. We're all about love, spreading love to every single person on the planet, making sure that everybody becomes what? Wealthy, creatively, and enjoys their life. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people educated in SHIB. The faster they get educated, the faster they can get in it, and it doesn't cost them very much right now. Later on, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to get in, and you're going to be left out in center field somewhere. That's the truth of it. It's that simple. Yes, the times are coming, Jason Scott. You know, Cox. Do you know how that is, Scott? Oops. I got too much Scotty Pittman on my mind, obviously. I couldn't believe that he was endorsing SHIB, first of all. It's very nice that they are. I was hoping that there would be a fleet of NBA players, or at least business partners, are coming forward and making a statement on why SHIB deserves recognition. Well, thanks, Rihanna, for coming in and saying something. That's awesome. Massive love shout out to Babe's channel. Massive love shout out to Jason Cox. And Rihanna, good night. God bless you. Have a wonderful and thankful day. Right? God bless you. Take good care of yourself. And thanks for stopping by and saying, making a comment. That's awesome. Ria. Really appreciate that. So, what are we getting into? Every burn is free boost. Yeah. Thanks, Jason Cox. That's awesome. Every SHIB burn is a free boost to the portfolio they didn't know they had. That's the truth. Their clients ask questions, tension rises. Accounting firms, 2 million accounting firms globally. Not one of them has built a SHIB division yet. That's not competition, that's exposure. So SHIB does have exposure. It just doesn't have enough of it. A lot of people think that SHIB is driven by the ecosystem development team. And as soon as they see that, hoax comes across, right? Scam. As soon as the ecosystem development team gets in there, one little tiny sentence in SHIB, anywhere in there, if they get in there, everybody thinks it's a hoax. Everybody thinks it's a scam. Why? Everything they do is a lie. Of course, everybody's going to think it's not good. Of course, it's giving SHIB a bad name, and that's what people don't understand. They mean well. They try to mean well, even though it's more for them than it is for SHIB, but they have nothing to do with it, like zero. But people have to see beyond what's going on. Like I said, Vlad Buterin had more to do with SHIB than the ecosystem development team ever did. And apparently, they just gave the chairman of the board or the CEO of SHIB gave him 500 trillion, gave him half the supply. Wasn't even on the market, right? Obviously wasn't even on the market. So he was withholding the 500 trillion and just put out the 500 trillion on there. So it reminds everybody of Trump's coin, right? Then the 500 trillion was put on the marketplace. 2022 was proof of it when Ryoshi walks away from SHIB. So he made enough money that he was like he was done, or whoever he was finished. He made his money. He's moved on. A lot of people feel the same way. You know, I made my money. SHIB is dead. Even though they don't understand what's going on with SHIB, constantly adding value with every single reduction. And there's only so many people in the world, and every single one of them want to make money. And the inevitability is that everybody is going to come full circle and start realizing, hey, this is a guaranteed investment. Because everybody wants to make money. And the exchanges want to make money, but the way they make their money is on volume. So we've seen the volumes pick up the more reductions that happen. So that's a tenfold. 10 times their money. So $6 billion it would have cost like Beer and the Bernie. He got it for free. So that all that money, that $40 billion for free. Plus he got to write off the $6 billion against his debts. So how much did he actually make? $46 billion in 4 months. Well, 8 months. Sorry, 8 months. My bad. Did they make any money off the SHIB? If they were smart, they would have just kept it going. But thank God they're not that bright. Because if they were, me and Jason Cox would be out in center field somewhere, staring up at the stars saying, well, that was nice. Now should we get in? And then how much can we get in? We're going to be spending $300 or $400, and we're only going to hold 100,000, maybe 100,000 SHIB. Maybe 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 SHIB. Long cry from 5 million. A long cry from 5 million. Because why? Increases the volume, which means you gain even more money. Means there's bigger burns coming. Means that we're getting more reductions. And repeat. And eventually we have no supply left. Just like that, right? But what's the price going to be? Won't be 50 cents. It'll be like $2, $3. And how much can you afford? You know, then it becomes how much can you afford to get in? And then you realize that, yeah, I want in because if I don't get in, I probably won't ever get this opportunity again. Because now what happens is every single person on the planet wants in. Because now they see it's constantly adding value to the bottom line. And they're going to be trading at 10 times each time they reduce it. So you got to remember that's a 30 to 40% increase every single time there's a reduction. And it's a no-brainer. Can it go 5 times, 6 times? Absolutely. But that would mean even more burns. So as it gets higher, the burns slow down. You don't get as much burn. You don't get as much bang for your buck as you do right now. You get way more bang for your buck right now. That's why it's scary, hairy bananas. Because every exchange wants more volume. They all talk about getting more volume. They want more people coming into it. They want that volume to start increasing. So that volume starts increasing, the more money they make. So I'm shocked beyond belief that the other cryptocurrencies and crypto exchanges haven't figured this out, considering that it's a cryptocurrency, digital currency that's available to everyone in crypto. Like everybody talks about Bitcoin. Everybody talks about, putting money in Bitcoin and putting hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. No problem. No problem at all. $100,000 into Bitcoin. Why? Well, it's going to 150,000. That's what they believe. So I'm going to, get 50% increase. Buying it right now, I'm going to get 50%. I'll take that every day of the week. In SHIB, you're getting 50x your return. Right now, if you were to buy SHIB, 50x. You're not going to get 50x in Bitcoin. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Right? Not this year, but you possibly happen with SHIB easily. You could get a 100x easy in SHIB, more than you can in Bitcoin. Why? Well, because it's continuously reducing its supply, increasing more demand. More demand means more volume means more money means more burns. Burns lead to more money, more liquidity, more value, more wallet holders, more volume. Repeat the process every single time. So at first, they're going to do that imaginary trick, right? They're going to do the burn. Then they're going to wait the 4 months, because that's the one, that's the psychology, 4-month period after the massive burn. Okay, they get the volume. All right. They get the wallet holders coming in. Are they leaving? No. Okay, so after 3.5 months, we're going to do another burn. But we're only doing 10% of what we made. Fair enough, right? 10%. So if it starts to trade at between 7 and 8 billion dollars worth of transactions per day, they can honestly say within 2 months, another burn, 10%. Then after that, 2 more months, another 10%, another burn. Then every month after the initialization happens and people start to realize this is going to be constant, they're going to start burning it every month. 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. Because it's not their money anymore. It's their people's money that they're making more money on volume-wise. Now, what are they going to do with it? They're going to stockpile a massive amount of SHIB. Half it is going towards buying more, half it's going toward the reduction. They're going to start to realize that the investment should be all back into SHIB, because it's guaranteeing them a chance to even gain even more money. Now, are they burning their supply? No, they're burning your supply, the people buying and selling on their exchange, not anyone else's. So they're trying to lower the fees to compete with Robinhood. Binance, they don't have to worry about it. Binance is so expensive anyway, they don't have to worry about Binance. They got to worry about Robinhood and Crypto.com, OKX, Coinbase. Theirs is higher. Theirs is lower. So they're going to compete with those exchanges to undermine those exchanges that they're going to be trying to do. And why would they do that? Because it's going to increase their volumes. Volumes equals more money. And then spitball. And then what happens? Every single exchange starts to catch on to this, saying, oh, we missed the boat. But if they don't take action, they're going to miss a lot more than the boat. They're going to start seeing their supplies dwindling because people are leaving them and going to exchanges that are working. So now they're forced, just on scale, to start reducing on every single transaction on their exchange for SHIB, and plus buying SHIB. So half it going to buying, half it going to reduction, to try and swallow up that volume that's happening on SHIB, so they make even more money. So what happens? We have a bidding war. We start that bidding war process. And it'll probably catch on long before then, because people will understand, hey, listen, if we don't get in on this, we're going to miss it. We're going to be buying it at a lot higher premium. And we don't want to be buying it at a lot higher premium. So we're going to have to start doing something drastic to gain. We want to make sure that we're always making money. How do we do that? They're doing it. Everybody's doing this now. We got to jump in. And the longer they take, the more they get left behind. And the chances of them getting taken out, higher. Right? The newer versions coming on board are one step ahead of the game, because they're just new. So they're going to want to take part in the next, who's ever moving the fastest. All cap. Yes, don't miss the boat. Don't miss the boat. We don't know when the boat is taking off from shore, though. Mark Anthony, massive love show to fellow shibbers. Massive love shout out to Mark Anthony. Massive love shout out to Ball Cap. Yeah, we don't want to miss the boat. So we won't miss the boat if we're in SHIB. So if you're in SHIB, you're not going to miss the boat. How much did you get in? And you'll probably kick yourself in the butt later on, but you'll be happy to know that you're in it. Never mind how much you're in. Right? Because it doesn't cost, like, think about it. $13, $12. Right now, 1175, 1180 buys you 1 million SHIB. Now, when it was 4025, I was saying the exact same thing. It's only going to cost you $26 to get in to SHIB. Like, you think about it, $26 to buy 1 million, that's insane. You're able to do that now for $11.75 to get into SHIB. Okay, yes, so true. Exactly. Right? Like, at 4037, $37 to buy 1 million SHIB. $37. Are you kidding me? How many of us wished we could buy Apple, 1 million Apple stocks? When it went to when it was trading at $5.35, you still couldn't afford to buy 1 million. That was $5 million you had to come up with. Well, actually, 535 million. Yeah. Right, to buy 1 million. Even to buy 100,000 is expensive to buy Apple at $5.35. Never mind where it's at now. But you kind of get the hint, right? And was it ever trading in value? No. It's always trading at that 13, 14 times its value. It was only valued at like 80 cents. And it was trading at $5.35. So like that's more than, that's more than 10 times, right? So no, $8 would have been 10 times. So still trading around at 7 times. Usually companies that are tech usually trade at higher multiples, like 20 to 30 times their earnings, if they're any good. Apple at that time had the Next box. Anyone remember the Next box? Absolute crap. What happened? Jeff Jobs came up and said, Jobs came up and said, we're going to turn your brick into a handheld device that you're going to be able to use a touch screen on. His daughter thought he was crazy. Right? Thought he was crazy. 2 years later, a year and a half later, the iPod was developed. Store up to 500 songs on it. What an amazing thing. It killed what? The Discman, the Walkman, everything. The Ghetto Blaster, gone. No more. Why? Because just destroyed it. What happened to Blockbuster? They blamed it on the phone. Actually, it was Netflix. People could go into Netflix for a song and a dance, right? $10 a month, and you get unlimited movies. Now, they're old movies, but they're unlimited. And most of them were recyclable. So all the movies that you have on your video and recordings and stuff, you can now watch it. So what's going to happen with SHIB? The exact same thing. It's going to take over the marketplace when it comes to digital currency. So all the banks are slow to get in to the digital age. They're just starting to scrape the surface of certain digital aspects. But they'll never take the place of cryptocurrency because it's well ahead of its time. The banking sector, everybody goes, something that everybody's trying to hack the crypto age with these huge numbers. It's like the banks only have 6 numbers, 8 numbers. They're easier to hack than cryptocurrencies, but they're all worried about crypto. Caregiver Watson! Watson's in the house. Massive love shout out to Watson. Massive love shout out to every single person on the planet. We'll do our shout outs now, eh? We got everybody in. We're going to do our massive love shout outs. Massive love shout out to North America, US and Canada. Massive love shout out to you. Massive love shout out to South America, Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, Peru, Chile. Massive love shout out to you. Massive love shout out to Africa, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Ivory Coast. Massive love shout out to Tanzania. Massive love shout out to the Sudan. Massive love shout out to Europe, Ireland, not my island, Ireland, UK, Spain, France, Italy, Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Poland, Sweden, Norway, Finland. Massive love shout out to you. Massive love shout out to Russia, Asia. Massive love shout out to Australia, New Zealand, Antarctica. Massive love shout out to you. So that's our worldwide coverage of the SHIB throughout the entire nations of all over the world. 5.3 billion possible investors. We say welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for supporting us and having a great and wonderful evening, everybody. This is awesome. We're all about wealth creation. So we want to help you become extremely successful. Every single one of you have that ability. Don't have to worry about anything other than taking good care of yourselves and each other. Anna, mass love shout out. It's me, Anna. There you go. She's in the house. Thanks, Ballcap, for the thumbs up. No problemo. We want to make sure that the entire world gets this message. We could go on and talk about politics. I know I'll probably get in there faster with politics than I would with SHIB, but I love this because everybody is going to be happy. Everybody's going to be wealthy, happy, and friendly with every single person that comes in here because why? We're all in here to make sure that we all have a great and wonderful time. And that's awesome. That's absolutely spectacular. Fundamentally, we are way ahead of the game when it comes to where we're going and what direction we're heading in. And we can't wait for the explosion to happen. It should have happened already. In some regards, we're thankful that it hasn't because we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to get in. Absolutely. If we have corporations coming in, everybody's happy about the corporations buying SHIB or national banks obtaining SHIB. We love it too, right? But the thing is that we'd rather have the people that make the countries great come in and be part of this. Because it's more for them than it is for the corporations who already get rich. And that's what we're all about. Pablo? Who's Pablo? Okay, Pablo. Why would you say that? You got to back it up, my friend. Okay? You just can't come out and make a statement. You got to say, what do you not know about Ethereum? No, Ethereum made a mistake. Plain and simple. Ethereum made a mistake. They didn't take advantage of a situation that was happening, and I'm going to call them out on it. That's the truth, Pablo. Listen, if they would have kept on burning SHIB, it would have kept on rising. And Ethereum would have kept on rising because it would have increased volume. So they're going to make even more money. Thanks, Anna, for coming. Mass love show to you. Okay, Jason and Babes, Anna, are people that support the channel. That's who they are. Jason Cox has come on many, many times on the channel, celebrating his announcements, coming on and supporting what we're trying to achieve here, which is making each other extremely wealthy and grateful. Pablo, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but that's the truth of it. If they would have kept on burning it, Ethereum would be at 100,000. So that's lost revenue on their behalf. And now, if they want to take advantage of that, they're going to have to do a lot of work and spend a lot more money. They already had the money coming in. All they had to do was do the reductions. But thank God they didn't, because if they did, I wouldn't have been able to get in. Jason Cox wouldn't have been able to get in. Mark Anthony wouldn't be able to get in. ER wouldn't be able to get in at the price we got in at. That's the truth of it. So, thank you, Ethereum. But they did miss it. They missed it by a lot. And it happened again. And Shibarium didn't take notice of it either. So listen, it happens all the time, right? They just keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. Eventually, someone's going to learn from it. Unfortunately, it's not going to be either one of them, right? I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. We have over 300 300 exchanges now trading on that trade SHIB, and all of them are taking profit share away from Ethereum and Robinhood and BlackRock and Crypto.com and Binance. When you spread them out, this is what happens, right? Now they got to work really hard to gain back that share. How are they going to do it? BlackRock is a 100,000-pound gorilla. That's why they own 120 trillion SHIB in different wallets. 8, almost 10 trillion SHIB on their own. But they haven't started a reduction plan yet. I'm waiting for that. Because they're the ones that are creating this enormous ceiling where they're trying to drive the price down, so they're buying all of it. BlackRock buying all of SHIB that they can get their hands on? How dare they? But they're taking a massive risk too, right? They're taking a massive risk. That's a lot of that's a lot of SHIB that they're got. It's over 100 trillion SHIB that's being used to bring down the market, bring down SHIB. That's very dangerous, especially at this level. Very dangerous. At any moment, people could start seeing SHIB for what it is, and everybody start jumping into it. Nobody wants to lose out on money. Nobody. So when you see an opportunity that doesn't come around a lot, this never comes around, by the way. Silver and gold. Anyone know the story about silver and gold? Everybody on like the Christmas song, silver and gold, silver and gold. Gold came down over 140 points, by the way. So where do I see silver going? It's unfortunate, but it's going to follow the same line of gold. It takes forever for silver to jump up in value because there's so many different organizations shorting it. So by the time it catches on, gold's gone up 500-600 points before silver starts its move. Unfortunately for those, it goes down in tandem with gold. So gold goes, so does silver, unfortunately. So your 1,000-pound gorilla ball cap, massive, right? But we have Crypto.com, also owns a lot of SHIB. You have Robinhood, who owns a lot of SHIB. Binance owns a massive amount. They still have 95 trillion SHIB on their books. That's under them. Yeah, well, you're okay. So before, I don't know if you remember this back in 2008 when we had the financial crisis. Hey, Pablo, you remember the financial crisis of 2008? Gold went through the roof, went to 2,000, and then silver was being shorted by Merrill Lynch, JP Morgan Chase, by a few different major accounting firms. And then the government stepped in, okay? Barack Obama, remember Barack Obama? He said that you have to stop shorting it. You can't just manipulate it, manipulate silver. Silver went from $25 an ounce to $90 an ounce as soon as he made that announcement. A lot of my friends bought silver, a lot of them, and they're holding it at $60 to $70 Canadian at that time. And then we had 2010, the markets rebounded. Gold and silver took a dive. Gold went down to 12, silver went down to $21 an ounce. True story. And then when 19, and guess what? Silver was being manipulated again, lower. Yeah, So, and I don't want to get into the metals. I love metals too, but when you have something that's constantly lowering its supply and gaining in value, it's a no-brainer, right? Everybody agree with that? If you have something that's constantly being reduced, everybody wants it. There's not a single soul on the planet that doesn't want to make money. And it's constantly growing every single day. And it's building steam as it's going because people are starting to catch on. People are getting smart. They're starting to catch on to what's going on. How long do you think it's going to take before we get an explosion? If everybody's talking about it and everybody's making a statement about it, how long before it's going to explode? Everybody wants a for sure thing. Everybody does. They know it doesn't exist, right? There's no such thing as a guaranteed investment. Everybody says the exact same thing, right? Everybody. But when you have something that's constantly reducing its circulating supply, there's no way of replenishing it. And everybody wants it. It's only got one direction it can go in. Because by the time you get in, by the time someone gets out, it's gone. That's how fast it's going to happen. Once everybody starts to realize that, SHIB is going to explode on a level no one's even seen before. That's SHIB, my friends. That's the power of SHIB. And you better start realizing it because that's just the way it is. It doesn't have anywhere else to go. It can't go sideways. It can't go down. It's only got one direction it can go. And it's going to gain more and more wall holders all the time. People who are shorting it are going to get screwed. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. If you go long, you have to know when to get into it to go long. And you need to start seeing somewhat. So before someone gets out there and starts margining it to go long, make sure that it's getting 15, 16,000 wall holders every second. Then you know for a fact it's only going in one direction. And then you can go long, 100%, 150%, 200% it's going long. Eventually, they're going to cut you out because everybody's going to be doing the exact same thing. And no one's going to be betting against you. Right? You start seeing that kind of volume happening with SHIB. And then you start seeing all the exchanges reducing it because they understand that they want to keep that volume going, that increase in volume going constantly. So everybody is going to start, hey, because that's where they make their money. They don't make their money off of the price goes up or down. They make it on volume. So the amount of transactions that are happening. They're going to understand later on that, hey, wait a second, we might want to buy some of this because everybody else is making money on the volume, not volume, but they're making it on price. So we're going to need to take advantage of that price too. So we'll start buying SHIB. So half of it's going towards reduction, half of it's going towards buying it, and then trading off and on our exchanges to avoid Ethereum gas fees. Amen. God bless. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Absolutely. That's just the way it is. Every single exchange. There's 600 different exchanges. And their SHIB is gaining in those exchanges every single day. So there's more and more exchanges taking on SHIB. They're starting to realize just how powerful this actually is. Now, we all love XRP. We all love all the other cryptocurrencies. ADA is great. It gives dividends. SHIB gives dividends in massive quantities that no one sees. That's why it's called the silent, right, engine. Because the dividends are coming up are actually the reduction in circulating supply. That's paying you dividends. Every time we reduce, everybody gets paid. No one's seeing it right now, so it's a good time to get in right now because people are lagging the information. So if they're lagging it, that gives you an opportunity for those that see it to take advantage of it and exploit it. By telling everybody? No, by buying as much as they can before they say anything. That's why it's got a lag. Remember, if people see the blockchain, Ethereum, associate that with the ecosystem development team, they're not touching SHIB with a 10-foot pole until they hear it from you saying, no, 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 no. That team that was developed was 1 year after the birth of SHIB. And Vitalik Buterin never mentions a word of them. And he was given half the supply. And he's still around today. And he was given half the supply. He hasn't mentioned one single thing about the team. Not one thing has he said about the team, one way or the other. Ball cap, good question. If you ask anybody, they're going to tell you it's around 80 trillion SHIB left in circulating supply that you can buy. And if you ask everyone in the world, they're going to tell you 589 trillion is available, but it's not available, right? And then how do you know it's 80 trillion? Because of other influencers. That's what they've said. And they got their remarks from other sources other than the ecosystem development team, right? They've gone on the blockchains. They've gone on different associations to find out the alert grids, and they've done their research on it. And they say it's under 80 trillion. So there's about 80 trillion left in circulating supply that's available. Okay? Because you got to remember that all the exchanges also are holding SHIB. Now, a lot of them don't hold 5 or 6 trillion. Right? Majority of the exchanges hold between 3 billion to 8 billion SHIB. And the new ones that are coming out hold nothing. Right? They don't own any SHIB. And they should be because they want to lower those fees. Yeah. Yeah, ball cap. So it changes every day, every second, every minute of every day. So we're gaining in wallet holders. We have no idea what those wallet holders are buying, how much SHIB they're maintaining. So we can only speculate, right? And speculation doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And then the exchanges that are buying and selling, people are buying and selling on, we have no idea of them. We can't track them. You can see them on Ethereum. Yes, Etherscan will show you the amount of wallet holders on Etherscan. So everything comes off of Etherscan, okay? But that's 100%. 589 trillion, that's 100%. Okay, then it's broken down into each category. There's 300 exchanges that trade SHIB now. So it's all divided by them, okay? And then you have those that are on Ethereum. So we don't know exactly how many SHIB is on Ethereum, but I'm thinking very little because Robinhood's been buying up a lot of SHIB. So has Binance, so has crypto.com, so it has Bybit, so has Coinbase, so has OKX, Gate.io, HTX, Bitflyer, Bitstamp. All of them been adding to their bags to avoid paying Ethereum gas fees. Okay, the swap sites, good question. Good question, Ballcap. Okay, so the swap sites are based on, like if you want to change your Ethereum into SHIB, or vice versa. So basically it just works on and off. And then if it goes on a blockchain, it's stuck on that blockchain until you move it off the blockchain. So there's no way of tracking that, right? The transparency is that you can track the wallet address, but you can't track the amount that's in that wallet address. Make sense? Mike Myers' younger brother. Captain Caveman, massive love shout out. Massive love shout out to Pablo. Sorry, Pablo, if you fallen behind, if you have no more follow-up questions. Can we track Mike Myers? Why do we want to track Mike Myers? He's in the States, isn't he? In Chicago. Amazing that he was on before Mark Carney, elbows up, right? Nutcase. Both nutcases. And Mike Myers had gained a lot of weight. Notice that when he did the interview? And I don't know why he would do that interview unless he's a Marxist. I mean, you can't get any further left Then Carney. Carney, by the way, anyone watch the news? Did you hear what Trump did to Carney? He walked away from the table. He said, you know what? Canada just messed with themselves. Walking away from the table. I'm leaving the tariffs alone for the next forgoable future. I'm sorry, but anybody who comes up and puts tariffs on it like Europe, I'm sorry, I can't deal with you. That's Trump's answer to Carney and his way to go Carney, right? You can't get any more left. And that's what I mean lefty's losing it, because he's a lefty. He's lost it. He's lost his marbles. He worked 17 weeks. 17 weeks? Or 17 days. Something like that. And then he takes the summer off. You know, they just got into office. He won. I don't know how he won. Like, he wasn't even in his seat and he won. He doesn't even live there. And he won that riding. And then we have Polyev, who couldn't even get in his own riding. You don't think that that's fishy at all? Where's the investigations? Like, seriously, Mark Carney paid everybody off, that there's no one covering him? Like, and that's getting off on a tangent because that's politics. We don't want to get into politics because politics is depressing. We want to be positive, 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 positive. We want to be pumping SHIB. No, we don't need to pump SHIB. Just bring you to it and make you aware of it. Why is SHIB the best cryptocurrency? The only cryptocurrency everyone in the world should be buying is because it's your currency, the people's currency. The only currency in the world where you don't have to worry about making dumb decisions on anything. There's no policies. There's no, regulations. There's zero. SHIB is on its own. It's got its own investors for investors. So it's everyone for themselves. It's everyone that's in SHIB is awesome, right? You're all awesome. You're in SHIB, you're awesome. You're fantastic. Why? Because you know where value is. And you know where the world is going to be heading. Into where you are. They're just not there yet. You're able to get it at a steaming deal. Basically for free. That's how I look at it. It's under a penny. And it's value, guys. It's value. Every single day it's adding more value. I'm going to give you a breakdown on how many wallet holders we have right now on the Shibarium. So on Etherscan. 1,516,000. Hold on to your Bobby socks. So we've added it to about 2,000 in a week. We used to be adding 1,500 to 1,600 a day. And we've slowed down. So we're not getting the word out. People are just not eager enough to get in there. Look at that. Woo! We just broke. Okay. This is awesome, guys. We just increased by 500 wallet holders. Woo! Just in the last 2 hours. We don't know how much they're buying. And this is on Ethereum Etherscan, right? It's from Etherscan. So it's on Ethereum. So please keep that in mind, that it could be exchanges buying it. So we have no idea how much, right? So right now it's at 1,517,002. Woo! That is awesome. That is fantastic. Now, you start to see this going up by 5,000 or 6,000 per every 5 or 6 minutes. You know, you can start leveraging on the upside. Unless you think that they're shorting it. Because this does happen. People get in there and then they get liquidated in SHIB. Or they short it and then they get out. Because once the position gets filled on the shorting, they get out. So then we have like 5,000 or 6,000 wall holders disappear. It happens. And yes, you do see a massive sell-off when that happens. Yeah, ball cap. So when you see this is what I'm saying to you. This is the paradox in SHIB. We're constantly reducing supply, right? And we're constantly adding more wallet holders, right? We should start seeing a massive catalyst to drive in more adoption into SHIB. So you should start to see the price skyrocketing, right? But it doesn't happen. That tells you what? The buyers are buying it, but they're buying in small increments. Exactly. Or they're shorting SHIB. Okay, if they're shorting SHIB, which means that the wallet holders that are in it to bring it down. Make sense? Right. But if you start seeing 5,000 or 6,000 being added constantly, it's headed in one direction and one direction only. Because no one's going to take that, no one's going to be bold enough to take on that risk. A lot of people think that Bitcoin, that's why Bitcoin goes under these levels where people are shorting massive chunks of it, right? But what happens? They get liquidated because more people are buying it than selling it. So then the people who are shorting it, they're hoping that there's a lot of people shorting it, and then it turns out that they're not because they don't want to get their rug pulled. And that's what happens when you short stuff. If you're not on the right side of it, you're going to get rug pulled. You don't want to be shorting SHIB. SHIB should not be one of those that you short ever. It's very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. If you're constantly reducing circulating supply, that is enormously dangerous. Enormously dangerous, because now there's less supply for the world to take on. The rest of the world want it because they all want to make money. Every single one of them want to make money. So, and then of course the exchanges all want to make money based on volume. So they only make their money on the volume, majority of them. So they want to do what? They want to short SHIB to make that volume because it's going to drive even more volume. And then you repeat the process. So you get, oh, we need to burn some more so we can make more money. It's just common sense, right? So the more we burn, the more we get. So then it starts a retroactive process. And then you have 500, 300 different exchanges doing the exact same thing. Hello, this is not going to take very long, right? We talked about this before. Koi is a cryptocurrency, and it's reducing SHIB circulating supply every single day, every other day, every single day, every other day. So that's how they do it. And they're only doing it by $2 or $3 a day. That's it. On average, around $5. On average, $5 a day. That's what Koi is doing to SHIB. And it's a Chinese cryptocurrency. Now, there's 20,000 cryptocurrencies. If they all started doing it, we could start seeing burns around 8 billion SHIB per day being reduced. Up to 12 billion SHIB being reduced. Every single day. Without the raffle, guys. Without the raffle. Then with the raffle, we could see it just explode. Because I can say for certainty, once we have 2 or 3 million, 20 million, 30 million people in SHIB, which we already have, according to stats, if you looked at the difference in the exchanges, we have about 20 to 30 million investors in SHIB throughout all the exchanges, which is fantastic, but we don't know the exact number. It's based on a logarithmic calculation. Again, it's not 100% accurate. That's why there's that's a 10 million variation, 20 to 30 million. That's 10 million that you don't know if they exist or not because of the variance. Because they can't track each of the exchanges down to find out how much is on there because they don't post it. Etherscan is absolutely fantastic because it's very transparent. But as soon as it goes from Ethereum to other exchanges, there's no transparency anymore. They tell you how much is on there. You can find out how much SHIB is in there, but then you have to break it down for yourself to figure out how many people are in it. So if they have 20 whales, well, how the hell are you going to find out how many of those are holding SHIB? And then how many under them, right? Because they're going to be at the top because it's the max, right? Then you have everybody else underneath them. Then you have everybody else on the other side. On Etherscan, it's pretty simple. You just go on Etherscan, you go looking down the list of transactions that happened that day. It shows you Binance, it shows you Robinhood, but it doesn't tell you the amount of actual wallet holders holding how much are they holding. It doesn't show you that. It's not, so it's only transparent on Ethereum. After it gets off Ethereum, it's unknown. Make sense? Everybody get it? Everybody understand? And thank you so much, everybody. Where are we here? It's getting to... Okay, so majority of them that are holding it are Indian. Okay, so everybody from India. India put a stop to, like, it sold 5 trillion SHIB, like, basically instantly to back up. But they put in like, that's the thing I don't understand about India. They put in regulations to stop trading cryptocurrency when they were given 50 trillion SHIB in the first place from volatile buterin. And they only spent, what? No, they have 30 trillion left. So they spent 20 trillion. And then they stopped all the cryptocurrencies. Now they're putting them back in place as long as they deal with their exchanges in India. So they're slowly implementing it, and because they're starting to realize that people in India are really smart, because what they're doing is they're changing their VPN numbers to buy other cryptocurrencies. Okay, so if they change the VPN, they can manipulate it so that it looks like they're trading it in the Sudan or Egypt. They're not trading it in India anymore, or Pakistan, right? Because Pakistan doesn't have the same regulations, so they can trade it in Pakistan. They can buy it on OKX, they can buy it on Coinbase, they can buy it on Binance. Yeah, so you get the whole point of that one. So who's holding it? Not very many are holding it, and those that probably, because talked to a few whales out there. I haven't talked to them personally, but I've heard from them saying that they got out of SHIB when they made over X amount of millions of dollars. You gotta remember, SHIB went from nothing to 72 million% increase in price, and then the reductions, and the reductions were slow and furious. So, and it didn't add to the value, because people don't understand what value means in cryptocurrencies. So that's a benefit to every single one of you that are in there now, right? If you got a lottery ticket's worth, and that's what we recommend to every single person on the planet, is you don't have to get in. You don't have to spend very much money to get into it, because, listen, it's well under a cent, and you're getting a million SHIB for like $13. Are you kidding me? Like $13, you go and spend that, and are you sad if you lose the $13? No, hell no. If it takes 10 years for your $13 to turn into $10 million, are you going to be happy about it, or are you going to be sad? Going to be extremely excited about it. And the fact that you probably didn't even know it because you forgot all about it by that time. When it happened in 5 years, 6 years, we don't know. It should have happened already. That's the truth of it, right? SHIB should be sitting at around $2 to $3. If volatile buterin and the and Ethereum did what they were supposed to do and keep the volume going, yeah, you'd been there already. Easy $2 or $3 already. So that just tells you that we're on the cusp. You got 300 exchanges. 300 exchanges trading on SHIB. So you think about it. You're 300 times more likely to see SHIB go through the roof than not, because of all the exchanges. And every single one of them are going to burn and multiply their rate of return faster than Ethereum could. Because Ethereum was based on what? The first to do it. Right, exactly. So now that takes the risk out of it, because if a Shibarium did the exact same thing. It followed the exact same suit 4 months before a rise. And then it rose 5 times. And it was only 300,000 reduction. And it gained $6 to $7 billion in transactions a day for 43 days. That's amazing, right? But again, no burns afterwards. What happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. SHIB's volume dropped off. No one caught on. Mistake number 2, right? Again, everybody's able to buy back in at a lower price. Even though there's less supply, more people in there. Hello? Someone's not paying attention, right? Why are you trading it at such a low valuation when everybody else is getting in and there's less for everyone else to buy into it? It just doesn't make sense. It's one of those things that you're just looking at going, you just shake your head. Wow, people just don't pay attention. Exactly. They're just not paying attention. Thank the God they're not, because it gives every single one of you the ability to buy 1 million SHIB for $11.75 right now. Right? Because it would have been, if you wanted to do the exact same thing, you would have been spending $100 to buy 1 million SHIB. $200 to buy 1 million SHIB. And you're still going, that's not bad. But compare it to $12. Now, when it gets to value, SHIB gets to value, it's going to be what? $500 to buy 1 million SHIB. Yeah. Huge difference, right? It's no longer a lottery ticket anymore. So then you're not, if you want to spend a lottery ticket, it's going to be what? $15, $20, $25. Yeah, and then how much are you going to get? Hundreds of thousands of SHIB? Exactly. You're going to get that 100,000 SHIB or 200,000 SHIB or 300,000 SHIB with your $50, $60. So you can understand, like, getting in now and everybody getting in now is the difference between paying $11.75 or, hey, wait until it explodes and then try and get in and try and time it so when it comes back down that you can get back in. And then everybody's going to be asking the same question, saying, when do you think, how low can it go? Be like, well, if we don't see any more people coming into it, you're probably going to see a sell-off. But if we get more and more people coming into it, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Yes, you're going to have people shorting it. Yes, absolutely. You're going to have people trying to take advantage of people not paying attention. Absolutely, like you are now. Okay, so long before it gets to $1, it's going to have massive, massive drive downs. So the 1 penny, for instance, everybody's like, oh, when it gets to a penny, no. It won't get to a penny right away because there'll be too many people selling it before it gets to a penny. So what happens is all those that are not paying attention, which is a lot, won't see the volume pick up. They won't see the reductions pick up. They won't see the people coming into it. All they'll see is the price. That's my out. So once they see that price, they're out. Okay, so they jump out. More and more people are jumping in because they're not paying attention. And they don't understand how come it's not going down. It's sticking around that same price range for a long time. Because we're getting more people. You're selling billions, hundreds of billions of SHIB. And of course, that's not going to happen right away. That's going to cause it to go down. And all these people jumping in are buying it up. But the thing is there's so many people coming in, and other people are saying, hell, this is a good time to get in because it's under a penny. It's under a penny, so it's a good time to get into it. But of course, when you have 100 billion SHIB being traded off at a penny, that's a lot of money. And then what happens is you have a massive reductions from the volumators, which is the exchanges. They want to make money. But then you have other institutions, companies, organizations, all trying to jump in because now all of them want to make money. So all these people that have billions of SHIB, sitting on hundreds of billions of SHIB, are now being taken out by them because they have the money to back it up. But they're not going to, if you have 100 billion SHIB, it's going to take a long time before that SHIB is sold off. Unless you want to push it on the market and say you don't care, and it's going all the way back down to 30999 when it was sitting at 3056595958. somewhere in there, and then you're seeing all this drop down to 3 zeros again, 9998, 88, 87, 77, 6, and then it starts to climb back up, then go back down, climb back up, go back down, and that's going to happen for what, 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how many wallet holders are coming in. Because if the wallet holders are coming in exponentially by 1 million to 2 million per day by then, yeah, we're going to shoot past 1 cent in a hurry. In a hurry. And everybody's going to get liquidated that was sitting on it forever. Okay? It's just a fact. And then when you have 5 or 6 million people coming in, you're at that level now where it's going to hit $1 very quickly. Very quickly. Because all those people that got in at 1 cent are now trying to get out at 10 cents. That's 10x their money. So they're all trying to get out at 10x that got in at 1 cent or below 1 cent. So they're all trying to get out, and then more and more people are coming in. So they all get taken out, and it's at 20 cents. And then you have the same thing. People got in at 10 cents. They're all trying to get out at 20 cents. And then push it forward. More and more people trying to get in, but they can't afford to buy. You know, they're not trying to get in with the 1 million. They're just trying to get in. 10,000, 20,000. The 100,000 is at 1 cent. You understand what's going on then? You understand that concept? It's a snowballing effect. Plus, you're dealing with a lot less supply. Yeah. So then you're dealing with a lot less supply. Once the supply chains break down, then it pushes it higher. Because all of a sudden, now you have more people coming in, there's less supply. Because all the exchanges are reducing SHIB circulating supply drastically. Because now the volume is 50 million, 100 million. 100 million is probably where we're going to stop at. Only because we'll have a supply restraint, which means that everybody's going to be doing the exact. When you have a guaranteed investment, guys, that's going to snowball, and then the domino effect takes place. All of a sudden, the mountain that was a mountain before is now level and stretched out for miles and miles and miles and miles, and now we're starting to reduce the supply of it because now the mountain is gone. And now the actual chewing up the supply is now taking advantage, taking a hold of it. So then you're starting to see a mountain of supply being eaten away very, very quickly because the exchanges only make their money on the volume. 80% of them only make it on volume. So they have to drive that volume. So if they're driving that volume, that means they're decreasing SHIB circulating supply that much more drastically because the volume picks up, the more reductions are going to happen. So then it's going to explode. So you're going to go from $1 to $10, $10 to $50, $60, $50, $60 to $150 to $180, $180 to $340, and so forth. And why is that? Because the volume is being exponential. Like it's still going to be $100 billion in transactions every single day until it gets to what level? Until it gets to, SHIB gets to under 100 million. And when SHIB gets to less than 100 million in circulating supply, then you're going to see what? 500, 600, easy. And then you're going to still see this massive, massive driving force behind it. And then are you going to start seeing the same exchanges? No, you're going to see the exchanges buying out other exchanges. But it's going to be happening way before it gets to $100. You're going to start seeing that it's dwindling down. The 500 or 600, 700 exchanges are going to be down to 20 exchanges or 30 exchanges by that time. They're all going to start eating each other. Same thing with the banks. The banks don't get in, they're going to get left out. And they're not going to be the central banks anymore. It's all going to be under Ethereum or it's going to be under Crypto.com, Binance, BlackRock. It's all going to be under them. And then when you do it, they're going to ask you, hey, listen, you want to sell your SHIB to me? I'm going to give you a premium price of 10%. You're going to tell them to go to hell and say that we can do business together. You let me lend it out to corporations, and I'll take a royalty cut on it. Let's say 20, 30%. They'll say no. I'll go to Binance and see what they got to say. Oh, no, don't do that. We'll match Binance. Yeah, I know you'll match Binance. Because I can go on my own and do it, and you're charging 8.99% straight across the board for corporations to borrow against SHIB, I'm going to do it for 4.99%. I still make money. I'm still able to borrow against my SHIB. I'm still able to equate my own wealth. Thank you very much. And then you cut yourself a deal with them, or your Binance, or Robinhood, or Crypto.com, or OKX, or whoever is holding the most amount of SHIB in their addresses. Crypto.com was probably going to be one of the first to start their own branch of bank. So I can see us all pretty much going to Crypto.com. And then right now they're backed in USDT. I can see them being backed in SHIB. 110% backed in SHIB. They'll transfer the wealth factor from USDT to SHIB instantaneously once they catch on to it. And I can't see them wasting too much time when there's so many of them that have a lot of accountants working for them, especially when they're into credit checks and credit swaps. Make sense? Everybody get that? Crypto.com. Binance can do it because it's got BlackRock. BlackRock's already a bank, but they have other problems with association, right? They don't want to be associated. That's why BlackRock is kind of doing everything in the background. They're not doing everything up front. They got Robinhood doing that. They don't want to be associated yet. So there's a lot of that liquidity aspect of what's going on. We don't know where BlackRock sits. If BlackRock were smart, because they're sitting on an enormous amount of SHIB, they actually own the golden goose right now because of the amount of SHIB that they have. And if they wanted to, they could unleash it by the reductions in SHIB circulating supply. So, like, I'm shocked they haven't done it already. I'm not sure when they're going to start, but once it starts, it's going to be a huge catalyst. And by the way, once that happens, guys, the average person won't be able to afford to get in because it's going to erupt very, very quickly because they have the money to do it. And $6.7 billion, 8 billion, 9 billion, 10 billion, that's nothing for BlackRock. Nothing, a drop in the bucket. So you think about that for a second. And it's all about you making money? No, it's about them making money and them putting fear to try and get you to sell it. That's what they're good at. Trust me, they've done it before to Bitcoin. They did it with Bitcoin 3 times. They got people to sell it because they put the fear of God in them, saying the SEO, was it Securities Commission, went after Bitcoin on the ETF. 3 times they got them to sell it. They created fear in the marketplace to get them in at the price they wanted to get in at. So don't tell me they can't do it. They've done it many times and for their own benefit. Like they've, 3 times their money? 4 times their money? Think about it. They no kidding, this is what they do. And with SHIB, it will be like a drop in the hat. They're going to put the fear of God in everybody, telling them it's not worth anything, blah, blah, blah. They'll do something that's going to create fear. They're somebody's that you know and see and trust in the marketplace, and then say to them that, listen, you need to say this, you need to do this for us. We'll give you a kickback. And that'll happen because they have lots of money. They have lots of power to do it. Now, SHIB is trading at what? $7 billion? It's nothing. If they wanted to, they could do it already, but I don't think they realize what SHIB is, because if it did, it would already be happening. They would try and take 50% of the circulating supply away from everybody. That's 294 trillion SHIB before they start reducing any of it. And they won't reduce any of theirs. That's the sad reality. Jesus is with us, absolutely. Jesus is with us all. And with that note, we're going to end on the Jesus note. And thanks everybody for coming. And good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night from wherever you are in the world. we're going to call it a night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your show. Tonight's show was pretty cool. We got MBNA All-Star Scott Pittman giving his blessing, endorsement into XRP and SHIB, which is astounding. And we always want to go and reflect back to our Lord Jesus Christ. John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son for every single person on the planet 2,000 years ago, over 2,000 years ago, right? So every single person on the planet can be saved under the Lamb of God, who shed his blood so that you would have eternal life, so that you could get eternal life if you take up the cross, right? No, if you say, Jesus, you gave your blood so that I may have eternal life in heaven. Please come into my heart and be part of my life everlasting. Yes, thanks you and amen, right? The blood of the Lamb is given to those that seek refuge from sin, because they know the cost of sin is death. So something pure and innocent had to die for your sin. Jesus Christ took that on the cross so that we no longer had to sacrifice anything for his namesake. That's why every head shall bow, every knee shall bend under Jesus Christ, our Messiah, our Holy Father in heaven. Amen. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great and wonderful rest of your day. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you, and take good care. If you haven't already, subscribe and like to the channel. Really appreciate all the expose that we do. 80% of everything we make from this channel goes straight into the SHIB holders. 80% goes back to, and it's gross. So when we do the burn, we're going to do it live. We're going to show you how much money we made, how much is going to the reduction of SHIB circulating supply for every single person that's in SHIB. Because burns are just that. It's given to every single person. So you're getting paid to stay. So that's how you look at it. Every time we do a burn, you're paid to stay. A lot of people don't understand that. 98% of them don't. But at least we're getting the message through to everybody so that everybody has that chance. No problem, ball cap. Take good care of yourselves and each other. Good night.